All right. So today, I just want to share my story with you guys regarding Nicki Minaj. Uh, when I first was introduced to Nicki Minaj, a friend of mine put me onto her music, and this is when she was doing mixtapes and things like that, and I completely gravitated towards her because I was also a fan of Little Kim. And so since Little Kim was missing for so long, uh, Nicki Minaj came in and filled that void. And so I've been a fan of her since her putting out mixtapes. So as time progressed, I was asked to assist a choreographer for a musical, an award show, a BET award show where she was performing Bees in the Trap. And mind you, I have been consuming by this point Bees in the Trap. She was already, a main staple in hip hop music, and she had gained super notoriety at this time since me listening to the Itty Bitty Bank mixtape since then. So it's been a few years. So she's become massive at this point. And so I had the privilege to assist on a job at the BET Music Awards. And I say all that because I absolutely was a fan, right? But in the same token, I had kind of watched her be, somewhat annihilated by the media. The media was constantly talking about her looks and how she wasn't talented, and she was getting a lot of backlash. And so, me leading into the story, I kind of understood where she was coming from, and how she was feeling at the time. And I'm a Pisces, so I'm I get it. So, rehearsal's happening, and I'm in the room with the dancers and the choreographers, and we're going over things before she's supposed to come. So she comes in the room, and she necessarily doesn't say hello to anyone. She comes in with shades on, and very, very, very nonchalant, okay, let me see what's going on. Not necessarily the most pleasant. And I go back and forth with people about that point, about entering the room and being hello everyone, thank you guys so much for being here, let's see what you got. And it necessarily was just let me walk in, let me sit down, and be ugh, almost like she didn't want to be there. And I get it, she probably was having a bad day or probably a long day, but going back and forth with people, and people were well, she doesn't have to say that, and she doesn't have to do this, and I get it, she doesn't have to. It just would have been nice. So, she sees the dancers, and she's pleased with everybody, and then it's time for her to learn her bit, her section, her solo section. And so everyone's sitting to the side, and it's her and the other choreographer's assistant helping her go over her routine that she's learning. And so I'm sitting there. There was nothing really for me to do at the moment, and so a friend of mine was 2 doors down rehearsing with Chris Brown. And so it's a big we were in a big area in Los Angeles where a lot of artists go to rehearse for big musical shows. It's a really, really big popular space. So next door could be Miley Cyrus and Usher, and like, so everybody's on the same lot rehearsing. And so my friend was excited that I was next door, 2 doors down, and my friend was like, "Oh, I'm gonna come drop by." And so like I'm texting him and warning him not to come in and peek his head in, because the energy has shifted since she's been in the room, and I'm pretty sure him coming in the room wouldn't be the best thing. And so I'm texting him, and then all of a sudden, Nicki Minaj looks at me and she was like, "He took a picture of me. Somebody get his phone. He took a picture of me." And I'm just like, "What?" And so like it got really, really, really awkward. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, "What? I am absolutely not doing that. I am a professional and I would never do that." And so like it gets heated and she's really, really upset. And so she has her bodyguard escort me out of the room to look through my phone and, you know, potentially have me delete pictures that are non-existent on my phone. And so I'm outside explaining to the bodyguard, which is he's being very, very like demeaning and undermining, and like, you shouldn't have your phone out and it's unprofessional and this, that, and the third. But they don't understand that I was simply just telling someone not to come in the room. And so like this whole big thing ensued from just an assumption. And so he goes through my phone and he sees no pictures of her. He sees pictures of like dessert that I had with a friend that day in LA. It was no pictures of her, no nudes, no anything. And so I get escorted back in the room and I sit down, and it's absolutely awkward because she made a huge, huge, huge scene. The security guard lets her know that, you know, I don't have pictures of her on my phone, and there was no time to delete them. Like, as soon as she called me out, it was just like, "Give me your phone, let's go outside." I was like, "Oh, here you go, no problem, let's go outside." After that, I still had to work around her and be around her, and I never forget, at the end of the night, she said goodbye and good night to everyone, and she looked me in my face and just kept walking. And I was just like, whoa, like, lo and behold, I'm a super fan of yours. But you know that went out the window because of her insecurity. And so she then, you know, day 2 was a lot better. Day 2, she saw me actively like working and on the stage, and, you know, watching her have like almost a conniption on everybody in the BET rehearsal. She blacked out and was like, "Everybody get out. This is supposed to be a closed rehearsal. I told you." Da, 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 da. She's going off. And she made it really, really uncomfortable for the people that were just, and it wasn't that many people inside the rehearsal room, but, you know, it got really, really bad. And so, you know, at first I kind of took it personal. And as I've gotten away from the situation and got older and reflected, I realized that she was, even though the way that she handled it, I personally feel wasn't the best, I honestly understand how going from 0 to 100 in celebrity is like shocking. And she was dealing with her own insecurity as she was turning into a megastar, and I caught her in that place of like, I don't want people taking pictures of me, and I don't want people teasing me, and this, that, and the third. So like, I had empathy for her and was able to put that situation aside and still enjoy her artistry. And I feel like a lot of celebrities go through a lot of like their personal things and their personal struggles, and like it's always on Front Street. And people forget that celebrities are like humans, and so you know, it's like one of those things where I constantly work on my insecurities, and constantly work on them. And because they're all made up in my head, right? And luckily I don't have 50 million people on Instagram and on YouTube telling me that my teeth are crooked and my teeth are ugly, or I'm not to this, or I'm to this, or I'm not to that. And so like, I personally believe that it's like important to like do that deep self work, because when you do that deep self work, then you become bulletproof in a sense, and not numb, but bulletproof to people that, are ignorant. And like, I get it. She's a woman, and she's dealing with her personal life. She's dealing with her celebrity life, and it became overwhelming. And I just got caught in the storm of her trying to figure out who she was. Because I feel, as I kept watching her career after that incident, she started to become more comfortable in her skin. And she took time away to do that. I necessarily don't think it's like at 100% yet, because she's a little bit reactive to other people, and once you become in a space where nothing bothers you, you are not reactive to like comments and this and that, and you know what I mean? And so like, she's definitely gotten better. And I'm sharing this story because I necessarily don't hate her. I listen to her music. I'm a fan of her music. But I can definitely relate to, it's the new era where we live in, where people can sit at home and tell you that they're going to bomb your house and kill your family and things like that. And they're absolutely not. And it becomes really, really intense. And so like, me sharing this is so that you guys take the time out to like work on yourselves while you're in the new social space that we all take up now. And because it's just like the healthiest thing to do for you and like the loved ones that are around you, so that you're not caught up in these imaginary thoughts that you're like not good enough, or you're not worthy, or you're not this, or you're not that, because it all secretly just stems from you. Insecurities come from yourself and not from anyone else. And so there are things that you can work on, and you can look yourself in the mirror and love yourself, because there's only one you, and there's nothing truer than true from Dr. Seuss. So yeah, I just wanted to share that story with you guys. Self-love is really, really important, and the more that you love yourself, the more that you can love everyone else and accept yourself. And I think it's a lifelong journey of growth and understanding. And so I urge you all to love yourself a little bit more than you were before. Because you're worth it. I love you guys. Till next time.